I have seen a phenomenal growth in technology. Sometimes I do think technology has made the impossible possible, and something which is imaginative to be reality. Science and technology are clearly the greatest enterprise of humanity, or at least one of the greatest enterprises of humanity, and produced many, many marvels of technology. I'm sure many of you are familiar with it, but let me, just for bringing us up on technology, recount some of them. Microwaves have created the ubiquitous cell phone, which has provided unbelievable connectivity. And we all know it's much more than just a cell phone. Digitization created computers. We started interconnecting computers and finally arrived at World Wide Web, which puts all the information literally at our fingertips. We created lasers for all kinds, variety of applications, communication, industrial applications. At the same time, perform a very delicate ophthalmic surgery called LASIK surgery. We have created an army of robots. Robots for industrial application, robots for working in hazardous environment, household robots. Now we are building an artificial intelligence into the robot and make them very smart, so that they can interact with the environment, learn from the environment, and adjust their responses accordingly. We even talk about empathetic robots. We have created unbelievable imaging systems, which can image the tiniest of the tiniest, the very atoms. At the same time, bring us unbelievable photographs of the galaxies billions of kilometers away. In medicine, from the humble X-rays, we have created a plethora of imaging systems, ultrasound, CAS, spiral CTs, NMRs, and without which today's physician seems to be incapable of making any diagnostics. We have created all kinds of materials, ceramics, plastics, polymers, composites, all kinds of semiconductor materials, insulators, and finally we talk about metamaterials, some of which we have very weird properties which we are yet to exploit. We have driven the miniaturization from millimeters to now few nanometers. And the microelectronics seems to be the driver for most of the technologies. Then we created micro machines, micro-electromechanical systems, finally arrived at nanotechnology, which seems to give us power to create systems which was as efficient, as sensitive, as optimal as what nature perhaps has done in billions of years of evolution. There are many such more optical technologies. Amongst one of them is the technology which we are about to discuss, the so-called 3D and occasionally called additive manufacturing. When a couple of decades back, when some of my friends in the academic environment informed me about this toolless engineering which can produce components, very complicated components, very quickly with very little waste of materials, it didn't make an impact on me at all. I thought it was one of those academic research activities, till I visited Oak Ridge National Laboratory in Tennessee. As I was being taken around the laboratory, I saw a very bright-looking car displayed. I was wondering what a car was doing in a Oak Ridge National Laboratory, till I was told that it was produced by the 3D machine which they had in the laboratory. When I saw that machine, which can use all kinds of materials and produce a car, unbelievable. Since then I have been reading about all kinds of things what this so-called 3D technology can do in civil structures, houses, bridges, a bridge in Shanghai, recently a steel bridge in Netherlands which was installed, so on and on. I read about what it could do to medical electronics, and prosthetics, and artificial organs. I read about something what it can do in the transportation sector, all kinds of components, including seats and so on. And then aeronautics, all kinds of many, especially for the engine components and units. So clearly there is some technology which seems to be very highly product oriented. In fact, this is what goaded me, who has less than perfunctory knowledge in this particular area, and I never worked in this area, to accept the invitation of my good friend Naidu and Bhattacharya to come and open to you my ignorance about this particular technology. When I talk about technology in India, something bothers me. India is more of a technology follower and perhaps mimicker, as somebody would pejoratively call it, and not creators and innovators. In spite of our enormous amount of talent, which is spread all over the world, and with excellent R&D organizations in India like Space, Department of Atomic Energy, Defense and so on, we still are unable to create a product which is conceptualized in India, designed in India, developed in India, manufactured in India, and marketed by India. We don't have such components. Perhaps this particular technology gives us that opportunity to show that we are not only very good at producing it outside India, we are capable of producing them inside India. That is the essentiality of the technology. We all know that technology or the engines will drive the progress and prosperity of the country, and it is the one which builds the wealth for the country. India, which is trying to become a fully developed country and a world power, must clearly become a knowledge power and technology power, because without that you can't build the kind of wealth and become a third largest $5 trillion economy and other things. So technology is a integral part. I am very glad that Ramaya Institute of Technology has taken this lead to organize this conference. Something very pleasing, organize this conference with mostly industries. India, there are a number of conferences which are held academically. Good conferences, a lot of papers are presented, a lot of people discuss, but very rarely it produces any technology. That is the tragedy which we have to overcome in India. We have huge amount of talents, huge amount of young talents, who dominate in places like Silicon Valley and any other laboratories all over the world. I am sure Boeing and other things are no exceptions. But somehow we've got to put this act together and produce our own technology. In this technology, I wonder whether aerospace is the right one for India. I'm not sure, because we are still far away from designing our own, designing and developing our own transport aircraft in India yet, and it will be quite some time, though we have got involved elaborately, and I was involved to a large extent in producing a light combat aircraft, Tejas. But we are still far away from the aeronautics technology. I also for a short time looked as the head of the Society for Biomedical Technology in India, the government of India, looked at what technology could do biomedical engineering. That's where I ran into Shantanu first when I was talking about PENS and MEMS applications in point of care, wearable systems, swallowable systems of MEMS and Maybe that's an area which we can do, because we can produce components cheaply and with very little waste of material. It's time to take this technology away from the academic institutions. Not that the academic institutions should not do research, but this is a highly component-oriented, system-oriented, applicable-oriented technology. So we must convert it to products. Products which can be profitably marketed to produce wealth for the country. So I'm very glad to see that this one has a lot of industrial participation. As I said, we must also look at country-specific, region-specific applications of the technology. I don't want to think of we are building a brilliant platinum bridge and do all the kinds of research which of knowing whether it can be built at all by the sufficient platinum in the world to build a bridge. So the role of technology in society has become so important. It seems to modulate and control everything we do, so the importance of technology cannot be underestimated, especially for India. I tend to think these 2 or 3 decades in India are very critical for technology. Because we are talking about, we are growing, our economy is growing, youngsters are growing. In another 30 years, we will not have this many youngsters. We will be an aged country. So we have a window of about 2 to 2.5 to 3 decades in which we could gyrate this technology to produce wealth for the country. And perhaps additive manufacturing and 3D is one of them. I do hope that the kind of gathering we have today is not one of a kind and it's going to be annually repeated. When it is repeated, I have a suggestion for you to make. It must be industrial oriented. Must be highly productive industry, product oriented. And every time you should decide what is the product you are going to bring out within the next year or so. Because many of the technologies in India don't produce products in the end. There is a certain amount of reluctance from our industries to take the Indian technology from the academic world, from the R&D world, to put it into production. We are much long, for too long we are dependent on import technology. I think it's time to do that. And I think it's the right time, right moment that Ramaya Institute of Technology, along with its partners Boring and ASME, has done this technology. We missed the Silicon Revolution. Though we had excellent electronic engineers, we did not produce, we produced electronic systems from borrowed technology outside. But we didn't ourselves develop technology. I hope this conference which we are going to meet for 2 days will paint a different picture of the technology development in India. At least there is a hope and wish. I am sure you are going to have a very productive, very informative sessions, discussions, and identify products. With a partner like Boeing and the ASME holding your hands, how could you fail? I wish you all the success, and I have great pleasure in inaugurating this today conference. Thank you.